What's up, everyone? Thralls of Metal back again with another album review and Ricky Steamboat's cup of coffee, man. Just kidding. But we are going to do an album review. I am Shredlord.
Necrotic Nick.
And today we are going after German speed metal band, thrash speed.
It's a little bit of everything.
Vulture. Dealin Death.
This comes out on the 21st of May on Metal Blade Records. This band formed in 2015 in Germany, and this is their third full length, their second on Metal Blade. And yeah, it's thrash metal, it's speed metal, it's kind of old school heavy metal. It is so overly 80s campy.
It's awesome.
And yeah, I mean,
awesome.
how do you not love it? You need to pair this up with horror movies and get some popcorn and just sit back and chill with this album and your John Carpenter film of your choice.
You got your touches, a little bit of melodic guitars like Iron Maiden. You've got riffs like Slayer and Judas Priest and even Merciful Fate. At times you have a vocalist that is all over the place, and he does a really good job of making things interesting as a vocalist. He'll just throw shit in wherever, man.
His cadences are odd, and like his range is wow. I mean, all right, it can go from like, you know, sort of that early Tom Araya, you know, like that really raspy, throaty growl to these high-pitched wails that are ascending the towers to Rob Halford's larynx, or even King Diamond.
Grandma, what was it like?
That. Except it's frantic and you don't know when he's going to do any of this
stuff. Keeps you guessing.
And I mean, it kind of like, works with the overall feel of the album. It's so like entrenched in the 80s, and I'd say early 80s. Like this is nothing before 85. I would say that is pretty true here. The production on here is interesting. It's kind of a mix of modern and like 80s production. The drums actually sound pretty modern.
Very modern.
And the guitars sound fiercely old school. Like I really got the vibes of Kill 'Em All and Show No Mercy. It kind of has that early, like, all right, we're trying to make this heavier. It doesn't quite sound clean yet, but we got it. And I think this tone alone is going to get people to think, like, whoa, all right, these guys might be dangerous. Like 1984 dangerous.
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
Dangerous now.
And these guys, guitar players, they both play BC Riches, some old school BC Riches that you don't see anymore. Tone-wise, for this sound, I would guess that they're using just a wall of Marshalls. I would guess, you know, Marshall was, I mean, with the exception of Metallica using Mesa Boogies, you know, for Master of Puppets and stuff like that. I mean, traditionally, everybody just had a fucking Gibson through a Marshall or a Strat through a Marshall and, you know, a pedal or two, a little salt and pepper, and fucking away you go.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense with the whole aesthetic of this album. And songwriting, these guys are really solid. They definitely
fun songs.
Oh yeah, they stick to that, again, that 80s sound, but they have a lot of fun within there. When they want to go full tilt thrash, they really just know how to do it. Malicious Souls, Flee the Phantom, and the title track are all just barn burner fast, like galloping triplet chugs, big vocal hooks that are strange, but they're good vocal hooks.
Yeah, they're good.
They're good. They're really interesting. Again, that's kind of a thing that we keep coming back to, but I mean, it's hard to miss those vocals. But I love the early energy. Like it kind of has like a little bit of like a Bay Area feel, but mix that with like, you know, Hallows Eve or like Flotsam and Jetsam, and of course all the fun evil stuff you'd hear in Merciful Fate. It has this sort of fun camp, like, all right, if this came out in 1984, which I think it thinks it did, this will probably be on the list of like, oh, parents, watch out, don't let your kids listen to this, they will conjure the devil in their bedroom. They won't, but you know, now it seems, you know, more nostalgic. It's like kind of like old school, like, oh, this was so scary back then. I was like, no, it's just fun. I mean, I was smiling most of the time I was listening to this.
Oh, yeah. And for the record, I would probably try to conjure a demon, but just so I could have sex with it. I mean, I feel like I'm not alone. Let me know in the comments below.
You might be alone. Please tell me he's alone.
Please don't tell me I'm alone. So aside from that early thrash, you also get some of that early heavy metal stuff, once again, more like Iron Maiden and songs like Star-Crossed City and Gorgon really drive this home. The guitar lines are very melodic. There were good solos on here, and very melodic guitar solos as well. They always fit the song really well. But considering that it was like this kind of speed metal thrash kind of stuff, I was expecting different types of solos for this music, but it seemed they kind of wrangled in the solos for more like that new wave of British heavy metal. that they inject into this too. So you have some really cool guitar harmony moments. You have some really cool melodic guitar solos as well. And yeah, I mean, guitar-wise, if you're a fan of guitar, this album just has a lot of cool stuff that you're going to be into. Some cool riffs, some good tones, and some nice, strong melodic leads that really did these songs justice.
And the guitarists play well off of each other. Now, granted, they kind of have like a similar style. Like, you're not going to hear like, you know, like Hanneman King sort of dive bomb trade-offs in here. This is mostly more Adrian Smith, Dave Murray kind of bouncing back, or Glenn Tipton and KK Downing. It has more of like a melodic presence, like he was saying. But these guys do something really fun, and it shows up a couple times in here, but there are two moments in particular. They know how to take a bridge for a walk. This isn't just to like set up the lead moment. They actually kind of have some fun. They'll pepper in vocal melodies in the bridge before going into the solos. Count Your Blessings and Below the Mausoleum both have these gigantic long bridges where they're just bouncing back and forth. Cool riffs, nice little shifts in tempo, great harmonies. And they're just having fun with it. And this is all before even a lead shows up, really. Like, they're just kind of just walking this thing along, seeing where it takes them, and then it's like, oh yeah, no, it's kind of time for a solo now. And then they'll pepper in this really catchy melodic solo. And I think that was like one of the strongest points on this album, is that sense of melody and the sense of like, all right, no, we can wait a little bit. We don't have to rush towards this next big moment. It's a nice pacing thing on here.
Now, like most albums, this song does have an intro. It's okay. It works for the album. It doesn't take anything away from the album. At first, the nylon or acoustic guitar kind of sounded like some Crystal Ann by Annihilator, just the tone-wise of it.
A little bit.
But it really didn't have too many parts. It didn't kind of move along very logically. It was cool.
It was less than a minute, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it could have been left out and you wouldn't have missed anything, but it wasn't like, oh man, this intro. At least it was short, right? It's not some 5-minute thing of nothing.
And as far as atmosphere on here, that intro and maybe the intro part on the title track, which has a pendulum swinging, which if you're looking at the album cover, that makes sense. That is the only real moments of like, you know, weird atmosphere to sort of build up, because they actually just do that in the songs. They build up naturally. There's, again, lots of songwriting dynamics. So there really isn't a need for all that extra stuff in terms of like intros and outros and such. Just keep having fun.
Now, one of the highlights for Necrotic and I is definitely the closer of the album, Court of Caligula. It starts off with a very cool double melodic guitar riff and then goes right into this big fucking groovin' ass riff, man. And it really is a strong point for their songwriting. You can definitely hear that this is a song that they spent some good time crafting, and it shows. To me, this was a great way to close the album.
I really like this one, the gang vocals or backup vocal harmonies, which honestly I could have used more of. There are some other spots in here where the backup vocals are just as good as the frontman's vocals. Now, granted, I think that frontman might be a little bit hard to harmonize with, especially in his unpredictable nature, but they actually threw in some cool bits in there, like almost sort of like a gang vocal chant of the title. And the song does something interesting at the end. Like, you think it's going to end, it kind of gives you like a false ending, and then all of a sudden the frontman's voice gets harsher. I don't know if that's like a prelude of things to come, but it was notably like the most harsh vocal thing that he did. And of course, he threw in a giant wail at the end. The only thing I would say like that kind of detracts from this is something I also like. It's the vocals. They're very out front in the mix, so if this guy is not your style, good luck getting through this, because it is way out front. While I like them, they did kind of get old after a while. I like the unpredictable nature. Like, we were trying to figure out where he was going to throw in a wail, and honestly, I couldn't tell you. Like, they kind of come in at odd spots. But after a while, like, sometimes it just kind of got a little overbearing, especially being so front in the mix. But again, this guy's good, and I mean, he's hamming it up for all the 80s camp in the world, and I can't see this band with another frontman.
No, that wouldn't work. This guy is their guy, and I will eat all the ham. All the ham and cheese.
Oh, there's plenty of cheese. But yeah, overall, I dug this. This is a solid album. I have their other two albums, and it took me a little while to get used to the sound, but I mean, that love of like early Slayer, Judas Priest, and Iron Maiden, it comes through here. So overall, I'm going to give this 3.5 stars. I dig it. This is another banger from them. I can't decide whether or not the album before I actually liked a little bit more, but I'm going to have to go back and jam them all because I really enjoyed this. Like, if you want a cool throwback with loads of riffs, loads of melodies, if you're kind of looking for that sweet spot in between thrash metal, speed metal, and heavy metal, this band is it. And they are on a roll. They're only 3 albums deep, and so far all of them have been really good. So yeah, get this one.
I've never heard of this band before, but I thoroughly enjoyed this album. I like retro sounding stuff. It is a nice trip in the DeLorean back in the day. You know, stuff once again like we reviewed that Bewitcher. You know, those kind of old vibes. I dig.
This is right in there. Yeah.
I dig that stuff. So yeah, that's a solid 3.5 for me as well. This is a very fun album to listen to. The frontman keeps you on your toes whether you like it or not, and there's just some good, fun, solid music in here, man. Speed, thrash, new wave of British heavy metal, just taking a lot of the ingredients that we grew up listening to and stirred them in a big old 1984 pot, and here we go, man. Great listen if you're into that stuff. Absolutely recommend.
So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe, because we do stuff like this all the time. We also are on Patreon, so if you'd like to support us there will be a link below in the description. We're going to get around to throwing some more stuff on there. We have some ideas of other things we want to throw on there too. And we also have a giveaway going on. Once we hit 6,000 subscribers, which thank you guys so much.
You the best.
Are almost at 58, which is still remarkable. I mean, hell, it was remarkable when we hit 1,000. This is beyond remarkable now.
It's 6 remarkables.
Yeah, 6 whole remarkables. But once we hit that mark, we have a 4 CD package we're giving away. There will be a link below to that video, and if there isn't for some odd reason, like I forget it, you can just go to our channel and be playing there automatically. Comment on there, and you are entered. That is that simple. So with that, we thank you all, and we will catch you later.